Hi everyone, I am R.BUVANESWARI, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, A.D.M.COLLEGE, Authonomous, Nagapattinam. Today my topic is PL bar SQL. Briefly history of the PL bar SQL. Before PL bar SQL was developed, users embedded SQL statement into hot language like C++ and Java. PL bar SQL version 1.0 was introduced in Oracle 6.0 in the year 1991. Version 1.0 had very limited capabilities, however, was far away from a full-fledged programming language. It was merely used to batch processing. With version 2.0, 2.1 and 2.2, new features were introduced. First one of the feature is the transaction control statements, save point, rollback and commit. The demo statement, insert, delete and update. The extended data type Boolean, binary integer, PL bar SQL vectors and PL bar SQL tables. Built-in functions like character, numeric, conversation and date function. Built-in packages and the control structure, sequence, selections and looping. Database access through work area, collector, cursors and then error handling. Module programming with procedures and functions. Standard procedures, functions and packages. Programmer-defined subtypes. DDL support through the DBMS_SQL package. The PL bar SQL wrapper. The DBMS_job scheduler. File input-output into the UDF_file packages. Fundamental of PL bar SQL. A PL bar SQL program consists of statements. You may use upper or lowercase letters in your programs. In other words, PL bar SQL is not case sensitive except for character string values enclosed within single quotes. Like any other programming language, PL bar SQL statement consists of reversed words, identifiers, delimiters, literals, and dummies. Reserved words. The reserved words or keywords are words provided by the language that have a specific uses in the language. For example, declare, begin, end, if, while, exception, procedure, function, packages, and trigger are some of the reserved words in PL bar SQL. User-defined identifiers. User-defined identifiers are used to name variables, constants, procedures, functions, cursors, tables, records, and exceptions. A user must obey the following rules in naming these identifiers. The name can be from 1 to 30 characters in length. The name must start with a letter. Letters capital A to Z or small a to Z, numbers, the dollar sign, the number sign, and the underscore are used. Spaces are not allowed. Other special characters are not allowed. Keywords cannot be used as user-defined identifiers. Names must be unique within a block. A name should not be used the same name as the name of the column used in the block. And next one, literals. Literals are values that are not represented by user-defined identifiers. Letters are three types, namely numeric letters, character letters, and Boolean letters. For example, numerical letters are 100 and then 3.14 are null values. Example for characters, capital A is denoted for single quotes. Booleans values are true, false, or null values. PL bar SQL block structures. PL bar SQL is a block structured programming language. A program can be divided into logical blocks. The block structure gives modularity to a PL bar SQL program, and each object within a block has scope. Blocks are two types. First one, anonymous block, is a block of code without name. It can be used anywhere in the program and is sent to the server engine for execution and runtime. A named block. A named block is a block of code that is named. A subprogram is a named block that can be called and it can take take arguments. A procedure is a subprogram that can perform an action, whereas a function is a subprogram that returns a new value. A package is formed from a group of procedures and functions. A trigger is a block that is called implicitly by a DML statement. DML is a data manipulation handling. A PL by SQL block consists of three sections. First one is declaration section, next one is an execution section, and third one is exception handling section. Next one is comments. Comments are used to document programs. They are written as part of a program, but they are not executed. In fact, comments are ignored by a PL by SQL engine. It is a good programming practice to add comment to a program because this help is readability and debugging of the program. There are two-way write in comments for PL by SQL program. First one is to write a single line comment. It denotes to dash or entered at the line starting. For example, this is an example for the single line comment. The next one, multi-line comment. It consists of placed between slash, star and star slash. A multi-line command can be written on a separate line by itself. For example, these are examples. Next one, data types. Each constant and variable in a program need a data type. The data type describes the type of the value that can be stored in a variable. PL by SQL has four data types, namely scalar, composite, reference, and LOB. The first one is scalar. A scalar data type is not made up of a group of elements. It is atomic in nature. The composite data types are made up of elements or components. PL by SQL supports three composite data types, namely records, tables, and VArrays. There are four major categories for character data types. First one is character, second one is number, third one is boolean, and fourth one is date. Other data types, NLS. NLS means National Language Support. Data type is for character set in which multiple bytes are used for character representation. NCHAR and NVARCHAR2 are examples of NLS data types. And next one is LOB. Like Oracle 99, PL by SQL also support large object data type. Store large value of character, raw or binary data. The LOB types allow up to 4 GB of data. LOB variables can be given of the following data types. For example, the BLOB type consists of pointer to larger binary object inside the database. And then CLOB type contains a pointer to a large block of single byte character data of fixed bit. And then NCLOB type contains pointer to a large block of multi-byte character data of fixed bit. And last one is B-file type, contains a pointer to large binary object in an external operating system file. It contains the directory name and the file. Variable declaration. A scalar variable or a constant is declared in a data type and the initial value assigned. The declaration are done in the declare section of the program block. The initial value assigned for a variable is optional unless it has a not null value constant. The constant and the not null type variable must be initialized. The general form is declare, identifier name, constant, data type, assignment operator equal to default expression. PL by SQL was percentage type attribute to anchor a variable data type. Another variable or a column in a table can be used for anchoring. The general form is variable name, type attribute, percentage type, value assignment. Assignment operators. The assignment operation is one of the ways to assign a value to a variable. You have already learned that a variable can be initialized at the time of declaration by using default option or colon equal to. The assignment operators is used to executable section of a program block to assign a literal another variable name or the result of an expression to a variable. The general form of variable declaration, variable name colon equal to literal or variable name or expression. Next one, bind variables. Bind variable is also known as host variable. These variables are declared in host SQL startless environment and are accessed by a PL/SQL block. Anonymous block do not take any argument, but they can access host variable with a colon prefix and the host variable name. The syntax of the host variable declaration is variable, variable name, data type. For example, variable name double, data type number. Substitution variables in PL/SQL. PL/SQL does not have any input capabilities in terms of having an input statement. There are no explicit input or output statements, but substitution variable of SQL are available in PL/SQL. Substitution variable have limitation, which become apparent in a loop, printing in PL/SQL. There is no explicit output statement in PL/SQL. Oracle does have a built-in package called DBMS_output with the procedure put_line to print. An environment variable named server output must be toggled on to view output from it. The DBMS_output is the most frequently used package because of its capabilities of get lines from a file and put lines into the buffer. The put_line procedure displays information passed into the buffer and put a new line marker at the end. For example, DBMS_output dot put_line. This is displayed output statement. Arithmetic operators. 5 standard arithmetic operators are available with PL/SQL for calculation purpose. If more than one operator exists in an arithmetic expression, the following order of precedence is used. Explanation is performed first. Multiplication and division are performed next. And addition and subtraction are performed last. If more than one operator of the same priority is present, they are performed from left to right. Whatever is in parentheses is performed first. These are arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, and exponentiation. Control structures and embedded SQL. Control structures and embedded SQL. Nested block, PL/SQL, data manipulation, transaction control statements. First one, control structure. In a procedural language like PL/SQL, there are 3 basic programming control structures. First one, in a sequential structure. A sequential structure, a series of instructions are performed from the beginning to end in a linear order. None of the instruction is skipped and none of the instruction is repeated. And second one, selection structure, is also known as decision structure or if structure. It involves conditions with a true or false outcome. Based on the outcome, one of the options is performed and the other option is skipped. Selection statements are also available for multiple options. Third one is looping structure. In a looping structure, a series of instructions is performed repeatedly. There are different looping statements appropriate for a variety of situations. A programmer has to write a loop correctly to make it perform a specific number of times. Selection structure. There are 3 selections or conditional statements in PL/SQL. Relational operators, logical operators, and other special operators are are used to create Boolean expression or conditions. The and or operators are binary operators because they work on two conditions. The not operator is the unary operator because it works on a single condition. Nested if statement. The nested if statement contains an if statement within another if statement. If the condition is outer if statement is true, the inner if statement is performed. Any if statement, if a compound condition, can be written as a nested if statement. For example, these are examples. Looping structure. A looping means iteration. A loop repeats a statement or a series of statements in a specific number of times as defined by a programmer. There are three types of looping statements are available in PL/SQL. The first one, basic loop, while loop, and then for loop. I have introduced first one, basic loop. A basic loop is a loop that is performed repeatedly. Once a loop is entered, all statements in the loop are performed. When the bottom of the loop is reached, control shift back to the top of the loop. The loop will be continued infinitely. An infinity loop or a never-ending loop is a logical error in programming. The only way to terminate a basic loop is by adding on exit statement inside the loop. The general syntax of loop, looping statement 1, looping statement 2, and so on, looping statement n, then exit, and then end loop. Next, now introduce while loop. The while loop is an alternative to the basic loop and is performed as long as the condition is true. It terminates when the condition becomes false. If the condition is false at the beginning of the loop is not performed at all. The while loop does not need an exit statement to terminate. The general form, while, condition, loop, looping statement 1, looping statement 2, and so on, looping statement n, and the end loop. Now introduce for loop. The for loop is the simplest loop you can write, unlike the basic and the while loop. You do not have an implies, test, and increment, decrement, the loop control variables separately. The general syntax is for, counter in, starting number, and then ending number. Nested loop. Loop can be nested to many levels. When the inner loop ends, it does not automatically end the outer loop enclosing it. The loop label uses the same naming rules as those used for identifiers. The loop are labeled before the keyword loop on the same line or on a separate line. Nested blocks. PL/SQL block may contain another PL/SQL. In other words, PL/SQL block can be nested. The execution starts with the outer block and continue with the inner block. The variables declared in the outer block are global to the inner block and they are accessible in the inner block. The variable declared in the inner block, however, are not accessible in the outer block. SQL in PL/SQL. The PL/SQL statement have control structure for calculations, decision making, and iteration. PL/SQL does not support data manipulation language statements such as create, alter, and draw. The data control language statements grant and revoke also are not available in PL/SQL. Data manipulation in PL/SQL. There are three DML statements to manipulate data are the insert statement to add a new row in a table, the delete statement to remove a row or rows, the update statement to change value in a row or rows, transaction control statement, the commit statement to commit the current transaction, the save point statement to mark a point in your transaction, the rollback statement will discard all or part of the transaction. function. Thank you all.